You made yourself this guy, says Ashley Nicole Moss, who joins us now. And the Memphis Grizzlies, Ashley, are in trouble. Are they in trouble more because it's a bad matchup with the Lakers? Or are they in trouble, even bigger picture, because they got the wrong personnel to try to talk the way they talk, and they are not capable of performing in a way that backs up all their braggadocio. Let's put it that way. Why are they in trouble?
I really think it starts with John Morant, honestly. I mean, he's not 100%. He's playing virtually with one hand. He's a liability out there because when he tries to force it to his left, because, his right is basically non in use, teams aren't letting him do that. So that goes ahead and allows teams to have the film out on him with that. I don't know if Dylan Brooks and his trash talk, or I don't even want to call that trash talk. That's like a disrespect to trash talk. Whatever it is that he's doing is really a factor. It doesn't help because you're already coming at a deficit. But I just think that the Warriors just can't. I mean, I'm sorry, the Grizzlies came into this situation just unfortunately not 100% and not 100% in the area that you really needed to be 100% in to go ahead and play a team like the Lakers. For all of their shortcomings, you're still playing against LeBron James. And like I said, when Anthony Davis is 100% and he's consistent, and that's a big if, there's a big star next to that, he's unstoppable. And there's a lot of other pieces within the mix against the Lakers. The Grizzlies had to be 100% to go ahead and give their full effort. Now I will go ahead and give them credit though. I mean, they're doing a lot
Credit.
with a little. They're taking them to the mat. They're taking the Lakers to the mat. They did it last night. They've done it in other games in this series. To the credit of John Morant, I mean, what he's able to do with one hand is absolutely insane. It's not enough.
Come on. Ashley. Okay, you know what? We can't do. I can't take this. I can't take this. As a matter of fact, Gary and Natalie, because now Ashley's being too reasonable. Before we get to the reasonable and giving the Memphis Grizzlies credit, can we play just like I just want to give people a sample of what the Memphis Grizzlies have said in the last 2, 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, year. Let's just get a little sample. I want you to see and hear what the Memphis Grizzlies are about. Let's check it out.
You remember that quote I said?
Which one about?
Ain't ducking, no smoke. We run up the chimney. Simple as that. We ain't no conversations about not letting nobody get under your skin. If somebody, come towards you, you can't back down. It's a soft person tendency. We don't got no soft guys over here.
Who do you look at around the league as you're studying and say, we're going to have to run through them?
Celtics.
No one in the West.
Nah, I'm fine in the West.
I mean, what did you want to say?
Okay. See, like I have no sympathy for them. I'm not going to give them credit. Look, you talk a lot of trash. They talk a lot of trash. Dylan Brooks, LeBron, he's old. I poke bears. I don't respect nobody unless they give me 40. I tell you what, Dylan Brooks.
Michael, don't hold the whole team. Don't hold the entire team accountable for the mouthpiece that is Dylan Brooks. That's not fair.
Well, let me just say I want to say this. I haven't heard from Dylan Brooks or John Morant. I haven't heard from them. They got a little quiet last night. And I do want to point out, Trotter, to Dylan Brooks. He said he doesn't respect anybody unless they give him 40. If you put LeBron's points and rebounds together last night,
he gave him 40.
He gave him 40. He gave him 40 plus. I don't know, man. Hey, Trotter, I don't know about you, but I'm not really feeling the Grizzlies right now. How about you?
No, look, I want to say something first off. One of the reasons I love Ashley is that she has a wise soul for someone so young. And so I'm not immune to lifting from someone else when they say something really smart. I sent in my feed last night before I saw what she said about Dylan Brooks and writing a check that your ass can't cash, right? So it's just great minds on the same wavelength here as far as that. I'll say this. My thing about, look, I like good trash talk. I got no problem with it. But for me, for it to be effective, one of two things has to happen. Either you have done something that allows you to talk trash, or you are able to back it up. The Memphis Grizzlies have done neither. And so as our dear friend Natalie would tell you, they have talked a lot of trash for a long time for a team that has not accomplished anything. And so I agree with that, because I don't want people to think that I dislike trash talk. I love it. I mean, when we go back to the day of a guy like Larry Bird getting under people's skins with the stuff that he said and this, that, and the other, I'm cool with it. But damn, do something first. And so it is if the Memphis Grizzlies anointed themselves without having done the work. Right? And that's what bothers me about this whole thing. They have talent, no question. But they don't, to me, they don't have the right chemistry. There are too many young guys who think that just because individually they may have game, that somehow they have accomplished something, and they have not. And so to me, this is a team that truly needs, number one, a veteran player on that roster who can get through to these young guys. And then number two, they need to take this ass whooping and learn from it, right? and come back in the future. That's what I believe.
I think this is two separate. I think this is two separate issues, though. I agree with you completely. I think that throughout the course of the season, they have this confidence about them that's borderline arrogance when you haven't done anything to kind of have that confidence. I'm all for confidence. I'm all for thinking that you're the best, but there's a level to it. There's a line to it, where then you start crossing into this arrogance where it's like, listen, you guys are the young bucks in the West, in the NBA. Like, slow your roll a little bit. I agree with you completely. When it comes to, the Dillon Brooks situation, I can't hold the whole team accountable for that because that hasn't come out of every single one of their mouth. It's only him. He's the mouthpiece. He's the puppeteer. He's the puppet. He's the one who's out there, riling and poking the bears and things like that. Won't hold the whole team accountable for that. I do agree.
How about John, though? John didn't say.
And I will say lastly, though, I do, in their defense, I do think this series looks a little bit differently. Do the Grizzlies still lose it? Possibly. Do the Lakers still win it? Possibly, if John Morant is 100%. I'm not going to go ahead as somebody who watches the game of basketball say that that's not a possibility. So there's a lot of moving pieces here.
Here's what I would say to you on that, though, Ash. You're right. It's tough to hold a whole team accountable for the words of one, even though many Grizzlies, or I shouldn't say many, but there have been a handful of Grizzlies who have popped off and made comments over the last year. But I will say this. If as a teammate you have a guy who is popping off to a guy like LeBron, who has earned it, as a team, you go to that player and you say, hey, bruh, this really ain't cool right now, right?
Right.
Lay off. This ain't helping. And there is nobody on that team who has done that. And so from that point, from that perspective, that is why I can't give the rest of the Grizzlies a pass, because if I were on that team and he popped off about LeBron, basically I only respect dudes who put up 40 on me. I had to go to Dillon and say, bro.
Well, if you look at the body language of the time Dillon Brooks got into an altercation, I'm forgetting the player's name, throughout this season, none of his teammates came to his defense. So if you're a body language expert, like I like to think I am, there may be, not camaraderie in that locker room, and it just may be something they're not, dealing with in the public. But they may just be as fed up with him as we are with him from the outside looking in, but they're in the locker room. I would not be surprised if he's hearing a whole lot of this in that locker room. I would not be surprised. You didn't see the picture of them looking at him on the bench, Desmond Bane and John Morant, looking at him like, oh, this guy got to go. I don't know.
I was reminded, just reading some of the I can't remember who did. It may have been Brian Windhorst who did this story, or somebody just going over. Maybe it was Dave McMenamin going over some of the rivals that LeBron has had. If you look at those lists, the list of those names, it's generally not, top 5 players. The best player on the list of rivals, of self-appointed LeBron rivals or critics, agitators, best player is Paul Pierce. But between Paul Pierce, Lance Stevenson, Deshaun Stevenson, Dylan Brooks, a lot of these guys who have come up and challenged them, none of those guys have really been successful. And the guys who are successful don't even say anything. Like Kevin Durant has played them a couple of times in the finals, or 3 times in the finals, come away with 2 victories. He wasn't talking trash, not before the game. But he was doing it with his play. So I guess, to your point, Trotter, it takes somebody to say, look, I know what you're trying to do. This is really good for your brand, I guess. It's getting you a lot of attention. It's not helping us, though. Like, you Dylan Brooks, are not going to get under LeBron's skin. And I guess it takes a little bit of experience, which brings me to the New York Knicks, who have more playoff experience than the Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't think they're a better team, talent-wise, person for person, than the Cavaliers, but they got more experience than the Cavaliers, and it's really working out for them, Ashley. They're up 3-1. It's good to see Madison Square Garden alive again and meaningful playoff games. It's always better. New York's a great city in its own right, but it's a better city when the Knicks are playing in the playoffs and the Garden is rocking. Ashley, what are your takeaways from this series?
I sat in this very spot on this very show before this series even started, and I said to you, I would not be surprised, and don't be surprised, if my Knicks take the Cavs to the mat and this goes 6 games or more. I said it on this show. I've said it multiple times. Everybody laughed at me. Oh, Donovan Mitchell's going to light you up. Oh, the Cavs are going to light you up. Knicks don't stand a chance. They might get swept. And here we are, up 3-1. Just 1 win away to advancing to the second round, where I hope to God we see the Miami Heat so I can be front and center down here in the 305, witnessing the 90s, because I was a baby, so I don't remember that. But I'm not surprised in the slightest. I believed in this team from the beginning. I told people this is a very real possibility. These teams are a lot more evenly matched than people gave us credit for. And everybody laughed at me and said, there's no way the Knicks are going to come out of this series victorious. And I'm just going to relish in the fact that my New York Knicks are up 3-1 in a playoff series, 1 win away from go ahead and advancing. I told you so. It is a good day to be a New York Knicks fan. Once again, heck yeah, praise MSG. That's how I feel.
Can I ask one point of clarification here? I was not on set with you guys or on screen with you guys, Ashley, when you made that comment. But when you said the Knicks could take them to the max in 6 games, did you say the Knicks would win?
I did.
You said the Knicks would win. I just want to be clear.
I said, do not be surprised if the Knicks win this series and take the Cavs to the mat and it goes 6 or 7 games. I always had Knicks in 6. I'm sticking to my prediction. I think the Cavs go ahead and handle business at home tomorrow. But I think when it goes back to the Garden, just be prepared. If you're on 7th Avenue, find shelter. It's about to be mayhem out there.
There it is. There it is. I like it. And so then you get let's look ahead. Both teams up 3-1. New York up 3-1. Miami up 3-1. Who you like in that series? I mean, let's go ahead. You got the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals too. You gonna put them in the finals?
I'm not gonna jinx it. I hope that would be. Listen, Michael, we go to the Eastern Conference Finals. You guys aren't gonna see me for a while. I am going to probably be sitting in a jail cell in New York City somewhere for causing destruction of the entire Midtown Manhattan, because that I will be out there with the fans causing utter chaos. It would be the greatest day that I think I have ever seen in my life. But I will say, listen, in the Miami Bucks series, I like Miami. I mean, it's hard to kind of bet against Miami after what I just witnessed with playoff Jimmy. If you even get a fraction of that, and you even get a fraction of, what Bam can be, and, the other supporting cast members, they just gotta go ahead and get one. It's hard to win 3 in a row. It's very, very hard do that. Not saying the Bucks can't do it, but Giannis may not even be 100%. It's hard to go ahead and make that happen. It's hard to force 7 games. Miami only needs 1. I think they seal it. I think my Knicks get it done, and the 90s are going to be relived in the second round. It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a fun one.
90s. See, you know what? When you have time, when you have more time, more time, Ashley, Trotter and I can tell you about the 90s. What was popping in the 90s, all this stuff. I'm going to bring it all back. I saw some of those 90s players around the Garden. John Starks was there. You know, some of the hairstyles are still here. You know, some of the fashion is still here from the 90s. So it's not all that different. It's just been repurposed. But I'm happy for you. Ashley, I'm happy for you. I am. I thought the Cavaliers would win it. I thought Donovan Mitchell would have more to say in a Game 4. Oh, he was awful. In Game 4, he was awful. In the second half, what do you have, a bucket? In the second half, it's terrible. Anyway, Ashley, good to see you. We will catch up with you. Next time we talk, the Knicks. The Knicks will be in round 2. Knicks-Heat. Can you imagine? Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.